Hello everyone and welcome to the Best on Wrist YouTube channel. What I have for you today is the full review of the San Martin Water Ghost V3. It has as a reference number SN017-G. After at least a month of usage, I thought it was the time for me to share my overall experience with this watch and also some of its features and in the end, the pros and cons that I find using this watch. Before we proceed, please hit the like button so you can help the channel prosper within the YouTube algorithms, and also please press subscribe so you can always get the freshest content from the Best on Wrist YouTube channel. Since this is the first review of the channel, I will be a little bit more detailed, so I split this review in 8 parts. The first one, I will talk about the case and overall dimensions. Second, I will talk about the dial, hands and lume. Then I will jump into the crystal. Afterwards, we will have a section for bezel and bezel insert. Fifth, I will talk about the movement. Afterwards, the bracelet. And then I will give you my pros and cons about this watch. And then I will close with my final considerations. So please stay tuned and let's go to work. So the first section is regarding the case and overall dimensions. So if we use this little measurement tool and if we measure the watch without the lugs, we can conclude that it has roughly 40 something millimeters, which is in line with the new Rolex Submariner that was released this year. If we measure it with a lug, it's approximately 45 millimeters. The lug width is 20 millimeters. I cannot measure it correctly here, but trust me, it's 20 millimeters. And the lug to lug distance, if we measure it here, it's around 48 millimeters, as you can see here. The thickness of the watch is around 13 millimeters. And if we weigh now the watch using this beautiful scale, we can conclude that the watch weighs 152 grams, sized up for me. If we put the additional links, it weighs roughly 165 grams. Regarding the case itself, the case back is an unsigned case back. It has a rough finish, to be honest. It's not raw, but it's not nicely finished as the remaining of the watch, and it's completely unsigned with the Rolex thread, as you can see here. And so regarding the dial, it's a black glossy one, surrounded by the minute markers that are printed out all the way across the dial. The hour markers are the inverted triangle at 12 o'clock, batons at 6 and 9, and circled hour markers for the remaining ones, except of course for the 3 o'clock, where you have the date. These markers are made from a polished, highly polished material, as you can see here. Of course, in this price range, they are not made of platinum, but they are filled with lume. As expected, regarding the hands are the Mercedes style hands, and they are abundantly filled with lume, as you can see here. I will make a quick test and I will show you in a second. If we focus specifically about the lume, this one is made out of BGW9, and side by side I will compare it with the Certina DSPH200 and with my Seiko Samurai for you to have an overall idea and better understanding of what is the lume and how is the lume of this watch, which is quite good. So now if we focus ourselves on the crystal, this is a sapphire crystal with the Cyclops here at 3 o'clock. I would say that the alignment is acceptable. It's not top notch, but I would say it's acceptable. Not much more to say about this one here. Regarding the movement, not much to say here. It has the famous Seiko NH35. It's the generic workhorse from Seiko. You should be seeing some of the detailed specs of this movement here somewhere in the screen. And overall, that's it. It's not the best movement. It's not the worst movement. It's quite acceptable for a watch in this price range. But I mean, I will not jump into the conclusions now, but maybe this watch would deserve a little bit better movement. But wait for the conclusions and I will touch on this point. So regarding the bracelet is of very high quality. I'm happily surprised with this bracelet, even though, and again, I'm not a bracelet guy. It has solid links everywhere, solid end links. The adjustments are made with a screw down pin. St. Martin are kind enough to provide you with a screwdriver, specific screwdriver for you to adjust this. If we look at the clasp, it closes like this. It has a lock here and then a security latch here, signed with St. Martin, not the logo, only the St. Martin letters. It has 6 micro adjustments. Unfortunately, this is one of the not so good things about the bracelet. You cannot adjust it on the fly. You can only adjust it if you have a tool similar to this one, or eventually a paper clip will do, but you cannot adjust it on the fly. If I put it now on my wrist, I have a 17 centimeter wrist, and you can see how it fits. I think it's a very nice watch, very nice bracelet with a very good look and feel. So now if we consider the pros and the overall pros and cons of this watch, I will start with the pros. And the first thing that you notice once you grab this watch is the overall build quality. This watch is very well built, especially the bracelet. And again, I'm not a bracelet guy, and I was positively impressed with this watch, even though the bracelet is a little bit prone to some scratches, as you can see here. The bracelet finishing is quite good, and the feel of the bracelet once the watch is put on is really good. Another good thing about this watch is that it serves its purpose, which is this is a very good homage to the Rolex Submariner, even though St. Martin left here a touch of, I would say, creativity. I think I can call it creativity, which is the logo, which is an applied logo, an hexagonal logo. Some people don't like it. I think it's a touch of creativity because it makes the watch that distinguished itself from the series of homages that are running and being sold and sold everywhere across the internet. So I think this is a big plus for the watch. It also has the NH35 movement. They haven't made a compromise here, so they went for the safest choice. I would say that a watch of this quality could and should eventually have an upgraded movement, something like a PT5000. I think it's PT5000, which is the Sellita clone, or if we want to move a step ahead, eventually the Sellita. Kronos guys did it. Of course, the price tag is way up, but I think that with this quality, this watch could deserve a little bit better movement. And now regarding the cons, I would say one of the cons that I see here on this watch is the different shade of white between the hour markers and the bezel itself. I think here on camera it's noticeable. The white on the hour markers, it's not white, it's more towards a beige, even though it's not a beige, and contrasts with the almost pure white that you see here on the bezel insert. I think this is not a deal breaker, but anyhow, it's something that I would wish to not happen. Another thing about the bracelet, which I've praised, is the fact that the bracelet is not matching the lugs. As you can see here, the lugs are coming a little bit further than the end link here, and is something that could be a little bit more well thought. Actually, it gives the impression that the bracelet is not from here. Let's call it like that. And now another con. Now I have the watch without the bracelet to show you, is the fact that the space between the lugs is not finished. As you can see here, there is no finishing for the case between the lugs on both sides. This is something that I don't know, but I can guess that would cost an additional €5, and I would be happy and glad to pay it. And I don't understand why Saint Martin is mimicking Rolex on this. I know that some of the Submariners do not have this exact spot finished, but I have no idea why they have done this. Another thing, which also is not good at all, is the fact that the position of the hole here is similar again to the Rolex one, which makes the standard straps to be ruined against the edge of the case. As you can see here, I was quite upset when I found out this. If you look here, the strap doing this movement, I can quickly put the strap here for you to see. As you can see, the strap is being scratched by the case. If these holes were done, I don't know, 1 millimeter or half a millimeter away from the case itself, this would avoid the strap to be ruined. Of course, you can bend the spring bar, but doing this on quick release ones will be pointless because this will only fit this watch. So this is a heads up of something that you should account for, which is this not so beautiful thing that this watch is going to make to your at least quick release straps. So, in regarding the final considerations, would I repurchase this watch and would I recommend it? My answer is maybe for the first and yes for the second. If I would repurchase it again, maybe. And because of the fact that this watch with some coupons costed me €175 approximately, and I think the price for this watch is quite of a good price and a bargain, to be honest. The problem is that if I account for the 50 something euros that I've paid in custom fees, it raises the price of the watch to 225 euros, 230, which becomes dangerously close to the Chronos with the Selita one. So, if you don't pay custom fees, I would say this is a very good deal. And even if you don't, and if you are willing to pay a little bit more for the watch, I would say that you are very well served. This is, I would say, the sweet spot of the cheap Submariner homages, around 200 euros. And yes, this watch, if you are searching for something like this, it's highly recommendable, at least from my side. If you want to purchase this watch, please follow the affiliate link that I'm going to leave below. By doing this, you help to fund the channel so I can purchase more watches and make more reviews of the watches itself. Well, with that, it's all I have for you today. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please put them below. If you like this video, please press like and subscribe to receive the freshest content from the Best on Wrist channel. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.